caves and margaritas. Joe and Gavin talking about their favorite features.
Well, here we are for yet another episode of
Man Caves.
and Margaritas.
Oh, we've not got a drink. Well, yeah.
We're a bit laxy today, aren't we? Because neither of us have got our t-shirts.
Well, it's a bit late.
Yeah, we're a bit late watching this one. We're a bit late between films for this one as well. But we've both been pretty busy, haven't we? However,
I mean, it's like 10:30 or something, isn't it?
Well, not quite. No, quarter to 9. I know, it didn't feel that long, did it?
Wow.
Not like watching my last film, is it? Man on Fire. 2.5 hours, that one.
Yeah. Wow.
So, as you can tell, we're at Dwizz's Man Cave, and it was Dwizzle's choice. But we based our choice today in honour of the late, great Gene Hackman. But you chose the film, didn't you, Dwiz?
I did choose the film, and I can't remember what it's called now off the top of my head.
That's right. So it's called Under Suspicion.
Of course. Sorry, my head went then.
Because he was under suspicion.
Under Suspicion. Well, I was going to go for... I can't remember what the original...
French Connection.
Oh, my God. Sorry.
Popeye Doyle.
Yeah. I was going to go for French Connection, but, when I typed in, Gene Hackman and looked at the films to choose from, he has been in so many amazing films.
Yeah,
I even forgot he was in Superman, wasn't he?
Yeah, Lex Luthor, the original Superman. He's in Unforgiven. He's in Quick and the Dead. Yeah. He's in another one of my favourites with Denzel, Crimson Tide.
Wow,
and that's an awesome
Mississippi Burning.
Mississippi Burning.
I did think of watching today, but I thought it might be a bit too heavy going.
The Conversation. I mean, he's really covered.
Fantastic actor.
I think, isn't he in The Firm as well? The Firm, John
He is. Is that the one with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he is. He's in The Firm.
And I believe he's in a really good thriller an early thriller with Kevin Costner called No Way Out, I think.
Oh, is he in that, is he?
Yeah. Oh. And when I chose to watch a film myself at my house, I chose to watch a film called Narrow Margin, which is another older 80s thriller set on a train. That's also very 80s, but also very good. But either way, what an actor! So
brilliant actor. I think the good thing about the film we chose today is we both thought we'd seen it.
Yeah.
But within 10, 15 minutes, we both realised we probably hadn't seen it.
No.
So we had no idea.
Not a clue.
What was going on. I don't know if it's the first film we've watched, actually, that we both haven't seen.
I think it perhaps might be, actually. Yeah. One of us has always seen it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This is definitely a film that
it kept us on the edge of the seat, this one, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, so it's classed as a drama, suspense drama, isn't it, on the actual thing? But it's a thriller, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It's a traditional thriller, yeah.
It's got a great cast. So it's got Thomas Jane, obviously Gene. It's got Post-7 Morgan Freeman.
It did have 7 vibes, actually.
Yeah. And it's got the absolutely stunning Monica Bellucci in, of course.
In her prime.
And boy, oh boy, she's so pretty.
Yeah, she was filmed very well in this. You could tell that the cinematographer used different kind of lighting and stuff whenever she was on screen, because she had all that like soft beauty lighting, where the others, they were all like sweaty.
Man, her skin is flawless as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
didn't look like she had much makeup on for the duration of the film, really. But that's, again, the way they shot her and everything like that, it was just so pretty.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean,
the whole thing was shot pretty, which made me think so the last 2 films that they've been set in like Mexican speaking countries, right?
Yeah,
it's like I complained about the last one that was set in Mexico that they didn't really show off like the how pretty Mexico was and stuff like that. And funny enough, this one's set in Puerto Rico, but they really did show off like how pretty and beautiful their culture was.
And to say that they didn't shoot in many locations, they did a good job with that, actually, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of times they just were looking out the window of the police station.
Yeah,
that you could see how beautiful Puerto Rico was.
I mean, a quick synopsis, really, so that then we can go into a bit more detail on what we thought and stuff. Do you want to do the synopsis? Is it your choice?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a film that if you haven't seen it, you might want to go and watch it first. Obviously, 25 years old, so spoilers don't really count. But you know, this is very much a film where you're trying to work out what's going on as you go along. So it's a kind of mystery thriller, isn't it? And basically, there's this quite important gentleman who ends up in a police station right at the start of the film, and they're pretty much the whole film is based in the police station.
Yeah, it's like a courtroom drama, except it's in the police station, isn't it? So like 80% of
it's not even like just the fact that it's a police station. It's basically in
detective's office.
The detective's office for about, I'd say, 95% of the whole film. Yeah. It's just in this office, and it's a beautiful office, a nice big office. You know, it's not like in the office because they didn't have a budget or
big office.
Yeah, it just, you know, that's how they decided to tell the story. Apart from actually a bit later on where they go into an interview room. Basically, this guy's been. They think this guy has done a couple of
horrible things. Yeah, the guy in question that we're talking about is actually Gene Hackman. Yeah. Just to set the scene, he's the lawyer, high end lawyer, very rich. Monica Bellucci is his wife, much younger wife. Morgan Freeman is the detective on the case, and Thomas Jane is his younger second-hand party hot-headed guy. Yeah. Think good cop, bad cop to start with. Morgan Freeman being good cop sort of thing.
Yeah. It wasn't a cliche though.
No, not cliched in that regard. But if you think of it like that,
yeah. And you spend the whole film trying to unravel, because obviously Morgan Freeman, because he's playing a lawyer, he knows how to talk in that kind of situation. Not Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman. Yeah. So he's very good at like not giving too much away and kind of covering his tracks and things like that. And they're Morgan Freeman. I mean, they think he's guilty of this crime.
Yeah. And all the evidence kind of is pointing towards him.
Yeah, for some reason, he tells some lies. He's constantly telling lies. As Gene Hackman's
his alibis don't add up, do they?
He's being found out. Yeah, little stupid things like the second girl that was murdered. Gene Hackman said he was out walking his dog, and they proved that he wasn't walking his dog. So
why make up that story?
And it's very intertwined with lots of lies, and it's not hard to follow though.
No, it certainly wasn't hard to follow right up until the last 3 minutes, but we'll talk about that as well in a minute.
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 natural breaks watching it, and each time we said what we thought was happening, because it's one of those, it's a film you get involved with.
Very much.
You've got your own opinion about if he's guilty or not, what could be the motivations and things. And we thought, well, we never knew exactly what was going on.
We had similar ideas, didn't we? We both had similar-ish ideas, although you came closest to what I thought was going to be the correct.
Same. I thought I had it. I thought I nailed it.
I mean, what I would say is, as far as it working as a thriller, it definitely worked as a thriller because for the duration of the film, I was invested. I mean, certainly, and I won't lie, when it first started, once you realise that it's going to be, I call it a courtroom drama, only because it's based in this one room. But when you realise it's based in this one room, you do then think, how strong is this film going to be? But then again, you got to look at the talent that's on the screen to understand that these actors, every one of them, can hold your attention without a struggle. I mean, I can watch Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman all day long.
The acting was absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, I love the characters.
It was incredible.
It was really, really good. So one thing I would say is that although it might start off as a bit of a slow burn to start, it is definitely a film that the more you watch it, the more you start to get invested until right by the end, you're fully invested like we were. And you then are trying to work it out yourself. What do you think? Let's have a cup of tea break. Right. Well, what do you think then, Twist? And, you know, for a film to do that, then it's doing a great job, isn't it, for entertaining? Like you said, well shot, really well acted. And the story in the main was really, really good because it had its twists and turns. You were having one story delivered by the wife. You were having a different story delivered by Gene Hackman. Turns out they're estranged. You don't know who's telling the truth.
It had also, even though a lot of it was in the detective's office, when they were going over scenarios, like asking, what his alibi was or whatever, they'd flip to that location, but Morgan Freeman would appear there talking.
That was really clever, actually.
Yeah,
that was a good way of doing it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And then when he was asking further questions, he was asking as if he was in that location, which is a great way to get you out of
crossover.
Yeah. So it's filmed really clever, considering it is one of those scripts that you could write on the back of a beer mat.
Yeah, like a lot of them have been.
Yeah. So it's all in how cleverly do you tell it and present it, and
and I think so. The one thing I might be jumping to this a little bit too early, but the one thing for me, and I'd like to know what you think as well, is that when the denouncement comes at the end, you're kind of left thinking, what? I'm not sure I get that.
Are we going right to the end?
Only just, we can touch on it in more detail in a bit. But there's that bit, it's like I'm solely invested in it, like 95% into the film. And then the ending's like, either you're really, really clever and I'm just missing it.
Yeah, well, we may as well go into further detail because it doesn't matter. Because, so basically, when at the end of the film, right, with a minute, literally with like 3 minutes to go, Gene Hackman admits to raping and murdering these two young people and starts explaining how he did it, where he knew them from, why he did it.
Knowing that his wife is watching him, knowing that she's watching him on the other side of the screen, and knowing that he's not been able to father any children for her. And she also thinks he's a paedophile because she accuses him earlier of being inappropriate with her niece. He then starts to admit that he has done it. They found photos in his studio of the two girls that were killed that he has just photographed. So he knew them from his photography. He admits, and during the course of his admission, the detectives are interrupted by another female officer who then says, "We've got the guy." And it turns out that the guy who actually did kill and rape the girls is not Gene Hackman at all. They found all these incriminating photos in this other guy's car. Monica Bellucci leaves the police station. He then follows.
Yeah, they let him go. They let him go. Right, this
innocent.
Investigation's over. We've found. Sorry, we know you're not guilty now. You're free to leave.
They meet up again on the street. She cries, goes to give him a hug, which he refuses to take, and then they both sit on separate benches.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like a story about their relationship then. Anyway, and then it ends.
I can't help but think they've made a mistake with the ending, but we must have missed something because they don't show who this guy was.
Never see him.
Or why they found the photographs in his car.
Never know
how that happened or how they stumbled across it. And also they'd found photographs in Gene Hackman's red room in his house because he's a photographer that does his own exposures of. They found pictures of all the women. Oh, mind you, he did say he knew them just from being around on the street.
Well, he said he was a photographer earlier on in the film, and he likes to document the history of the island.
So he genuinely had taken photographs of all these victims just as a photographer.
Yeah, around the island. And he had many files.
I thought that Monica, what's her name?
Monica Bellucci.
Yeah. Monica Bellucci had planted those photos to set him up.
Well, I thought she was setting him up because, we thought, our philosophy was, which is quite good, we thought that he was having an affair with Monica Bellucci's sister, right? Okay. And had maybe fathered her child, i.e. the niece. And because he couldn't father Monica Bellucci, or Monica Bellucci had found out that that's what had happened, we thought she was setting him up. Turns out, None of that.
None of that was even existed. It wasn't even hinted at.
Wasn't even close. There's nothing. It was like, what? So we were a little bit like, what's just happened there then?
But it just ended.
It just finished.
It doesn't make sense why it would just end like that. Because, like, you know, I'm sure all our viewers know how films usually progress. And if it turns out the person is actually innocent and it was someone else, you'll get some clues. Oh, hold
Daisy,
on. Our dog's
Daisy.
being a bit anxious.
Daisy.
They're both on film. This is Daisy.
And we know who this is. We've been on film before, haven't we, Jack?
Jack's a superstar. And he's sleeping while Daisy's getting a bit anxious, aren't you, darling? It's okay.
I'm no Sherlock Holmes, right? I'm no Sherlock Holmes.
Come on.
But I thought we'd cracked that case.
Yeah. What?
And then we're both like, I don't get it.
Come here.
I don't understand what the filmmaker was trying to tell us at the end. What was the message?
Usually you'd get some tips that something's slightly wrong and be like, hold on, what about this? Oh my God, maybe it's him. Oh, let's get his car. Oh my God, it's him. But nothing like that happened.
I mean,
it almost feels like they could have filmed all of that bit and then cut it all out and just went to the end.
Yeah.
Where the female officers have caught him, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, caught who? What?
So what was the film all about is the message.
Why did Gene Hackman, because Gene Hackman didn't get arrested for the first half of the film. He was just there. The police had just
under suspicion.
You know, can you come in and have a quick chat to us? And he stayed all that time. If he was innocent, why did he even go through all that? Why didn't he?
Right, let's think about it, right? So the whole point about his relationship with Monica is that she was much younger. He met her when she was 11. And as she got older, he then obviously started to see her as a relationship.
And they got married when she was
20. So young compared to how old because he was 57 in this and she's 32. Right? I'll do the math quickly on that, but anyway.
25 years.
Okay. So like the whole crux of their relationship is their relationship was working well right up until a jealous Monica Bellucci, who he's already said gets very jealous and insecure, sees him interacting with her niece on a Christmas day 2 years prior and assumes that he's being inappropriate, whilst the story that Gene Hackman says is completely different and innocent. And at that point, we don't know who to believe. But from that point on,
but there's bits,
she leads a separate life to him.
But there's bits. Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
Well, she stops. They no longer have it. It becomes a sexless marriage, and
they have separate bedrooms.
It would appear that he is still in love with her.
She basically says once she saw that, then any kind of attraction instantly disappeared because
she thinks he's a paedophile.
Yeah. But along as all of this is happening, at some point Gene Hackman's like, yeah, I like young girls, and he's found out that he actually goes to young prostitutes because he's lonely and frustrated.
He's lonely and frustrated. He's seeing these prostitutes,
young prostitutes.
So
everything's stacked.
Everything is stacked towards him.
Yeah, the whole film is saying you are guilty.
He even does a speech at one point, and it's quite uncomfortable, isn't it?
About him liking young women.
Yeah, and why? And it is uncomfortable, isn't it? That speech he delivers to Freeman
because you think he's guilty.
Because you're at this point thinking, well, unless they throw a massive twist in here, this guy's definitely.
At that point, you're like, how can what?
Yeah.
How can
so everything is pointing at him.
But you know, if I'm cutting you off here too early. No, you carry on.
Well, I just don't get the fact.
All right, I'm going to come in with what I was saying. There are some clever little bits stuck in that make you think, is he guilty? Because you remember when he's at that party and he goes up to that bloke who's holding the charity ball. It must be the mayor or something like that. And he says, you better hope I am guilty, because if I'm not guilty and I've had to go through all this, my lawyers. And I'm thinking,
Yeah, guilty man wouldn't say that, would they?
No guilty man would say that.
No, guilty man wouldn't say that, would they?
No.
So is the whole point that we as a viewer shouldn't think of someone as being guilty unless completely proven guilty? Is the whole point of it that we have been led down a garden path, much like the wife is, into thinking and believing that Gene Hackman is this monster, when it turns out that he's not a monster, but he's got questionable sexual morals, let's say, but he's not this monster that can rape and kill. And are we? Has the director deliberately told this whole story so that we have been taken for a ride like Monica Bellucci was? Do you think that's what that was about? What the?
Because it's so heavily based on him being guilty. Because even in the first 5 minutes, they're basically like, oh, right. Basically, the whole link between Gene Hackman's character and the police thinking he is responsible is because he finds the second victim, Gene Hackman does, when he's out running, and goes home and rings them up and tells them.
Doesn't ring someone as an emergency straight away after finding the body.
No.
Jogs back home. So waits until he gets home and then phones the police.
Yeah, so the whole thing is set like where you are really acting really weird.
Yeah.
Why would anyone act like that?
And then you find out there's been a previous murder, another rape and death of another young girl. And it turns out that he, on the night of her death, he's actually in that area as well. Allegedly, he's seeing young prostitutes. And, mate.
Yeah, I just the ending, like, right. So I want to say, I think the film is a masterpiece. It's
almost.
Yeah, maybe a masterpiece is too strong. It's very, very good. It's very, very good all the way up to
just
the
last 3 minutes. Just the last 3 minutes. I mean, for a while there, I thought I'd be sitting here saying that is a really good example of a film starting off slow and getting strong, and finishing really strong. And that's the sort of film that you want. You definitely don't want a film the other way around, starting strong and then just wheedling off, do you?
Why did you think it started off quite weak?
Oh, no, just not necessarily weak. It's just started off a little bit like, okay, I don't really know what we're going to be in for here. There's not a lot happening, is there, for the first half an hour? Not an awful lot happens. Enough happens to keep your interest. But then I became definitely more invested. You know, going in from about halfway in onwards, I became really invested.
Right, me too.
Right? And it did a really, 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 really good job of getting me to the point where I would say I was on the edge of my seat. Mentally, I was on the edge of my seat because I'm thinking, I'm trying to work this out. I'm missing something. I haven't worked out. And I was getting excited because I was thinking, when they throw the answer at me, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming because I couldn't work it out. So when they did throw
it's impossible to work out because it's not in the plot at all.
No.
It's just it's not even a MacGuffin or anything. It's just
like the killings were a subplot.
It's like they completely like fucked up the ending and had to refilm something or cut something out, and it just suddenly makes no sense. It just ends.
It literally feels...
It's a film that all the way up to about the last 2 minutes, they just suddenly flip the script for absolutely no reason, with no, like, nothing in place earlier that makes you think, oh, that's why they did that earlier. It's just completely...
It's kind of like, right, that they've got this brilliant script writer. I mean, it's actually from a book. It says that at the start. It's based on a book. But it kind of feels like they've got this script writer who's brilliant. And they said, right, here's 200 grand, right? And the script writer's written pages 0 to 300, but they need another 10 pages. But at 300, script writer's gone, that's your lot. Unless you pay me another 200 grand, that's your lot. And they've gone, oh, flipping out, what are we going to do? Betty's good from the coffee. Get Betty in from Canteen because she's dead good. She can finish it off. Yeah, and Betty's written the last 10 pages.
I know what you're saying, but the film had already finished. Because he
was admitting.
He was admitting.
He was admitting to it, and I was
waiting for the credits to start rolling, or
exactly
whatever.
the same. He starts admitting, and the minute event. It's such a powerful point when
I almost feel like that ending didn't actually happen and we hallucinated it because it's not the film.
Joyce, you're absolutely right. Because right. So there's this pivotal point in the film where did he do it? Didn't he do it? Did he do it? Didn't he do it? Part of for some of the film you're thinking yeah, and then they show you other things that happen. And you think oh maybe he didn't. Oh, then they show you a more compelling thing. Oh, actually maybe he did. No, maybe he didn't. And then you get to this really, really powerful point in the film, right near the end, where he's sitting there and there's this big pause. And the camera comes right in on Gene Hackman's gorgeous, glorious face. And it hangs on there for a minute. And you're hanging on that pause, waiting for him to say something, waiting for him to say he's either going to say he did it or he didn't. He did it or he didn't. And you don't know what he's going to say. And then eventually he says, I did it. And at that point, you're like, whoa, he did do it. And then he admits it, and and you're thinking, I mean, that's strong enough. That was strong enough, okay. But then the policewoman comes in, it's like, well, hang on a minute. We were like, I mean, you looked at me and you were like, was there someone downstairs in the car? And I'm like, yeah, there's somebody downstairs in the car. And Morgan Freeman just like, after everything, Morgan Freeman just switches the video thing on, goes, yeah, you can go home now, mate. Yeah, you're free to go now, mate.
That's literally how, we're not even making that up. That is literally how it ended.
Monica Bellucci walks out, goes and stands on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, I thought she was going to throw herself off.
Crying, so he thinks she's going to jump. That would have confused me even more.
How the hell did she get from that cliff back to that little thing outside the police
telling
station?
you, Maureen from the canteen, last 10 pages.
You might be right. You know what's funny as well? So I had all these like, oh yeah, I reckon Monica's like, yeah, copied some photography and put it in his studio and all these things. But all the time throughout the whole thing, I was thinking, it's him. And this is going to be a perfect example of like, they knew who it was from minute one of the film, and they took the whole film to get him to confess. And that was it. And that's the beauty of it. Even though there's like loads going on where you think, well, maybe it's not him, maybe it's the wife. But it's no, it's actually him. He's a monster.
It is Gene Hackman.
It is. He's a monster.
And that's the drama, isn't it?
They've set it up as a monster, but it seems so obvious that you're like, no, what's the twist? What's the twist? And it wasn't. It was him.
Yeah.
Until the last minute.
And you're like, what? It just doesn't make any sense, does it?
How do we not know about this film? Because something was such a ridiculous ending.
No one's ever talked about it.
You would have thought. Hi.
Hello, Daisy.
Put on a funny hat and do whatever it is morons do.
And that's the best advice we've heard all week, isn't it?
What's that about, Daisy?
That's what Morgan Freeman should have said to Gene Hackman after he switched off the video cassette. Go home, put on a funny hat.
Wait. Right, because we've gone through all this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if people who haven't seen the film can possibly understand how bizarre the ending was. But why did Gene Hackman say it was him?
Yeah, why was he admitting to it all?
Why was he why he even started going through the stories about how he knew the girl, how he set up the how he murdered her, why
you had another great idea, because at that point you were like, 8 minutes 8 minutes before the film's due to end, Twist says, I need the toilet. Checks the film length, where we're at. 8 minutes to go. So I'm like, right, pause it. Right, go. Because he's literally at the crunch point here. Gene Hackman's literally just admitted that he's dead. Go. Comes back downstairs. Before we press play again, you're like, he's obviously gone upstairs now to think about it, Sherlock Holmes. And he comes down and he says, do you know what it is? I've got it. Gene Hackman knows Monica Bellucci has set him up. The guy that they've caught downstairs in the car is the guy that actually killed the girls, took the photos, and then put the photos. And he's admitting to it because he loves her that much. He can't see her getting into trouble. So I'm like, that's genius. That's perfect. That's of course. play. What the actual... Listen, if anybody out there, anybody has watched Under Suspicion and could possibly comment with a reason for the last 3 minutes...
But if you do, it's not because you've been on YouTube or Google. You have to have worked it out whilst actually watching the movie.
Why?
Tell us why we're not... observant enough to have seen what.
I'll tell you, here's a good thing. There's no competition today, right? And well done to Sue McNally, by the way, because she has now won the I can't remember what it was. The Hunger, I think it was. Anyway, we'll sort it all out. So, but well done, good answer. So well done, Suze. But how about this? If anybody can give us a decent explanation to how that film ends, right?
And how you're supposed to understand
and how you're supposed to understand it, then I will quite happily dig something out of our gift box and send it. Because at the moment, I am like, what have I just watched?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is any way that you could possibly have known or seen them laying tracks for a possible ending like that, or for how it actually makes sense.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the sort of thing David Lynch would do. Except all the film making sense to us as we're watching it because we're thinking it. There's none of that Lynchy stuff going on during it. But the last 3 minutes, whoa, different film.
We're going to have to watch a David Lynch film next. We lost him, unfortunately.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Mulholland Drive. No, I'll tell you what. Straight Story. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's about this old man who does a massive journey across America on like a slow-moving tractor.
David Lynch film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
It's so not David Lynch.
You don't want to watch Mulholland Drive?
Flipping it. No, my favourite, going off on a tangent, my favourite
it's Firewalk
David...
with Me.
No, it's not actually. It's Wild at Heart, Nick Cage.
Yeah,
Wild at Heart. That's my favourite David Lynch film.
Yeah, it's probably the most accessible.
Well, do you know what, Len? I mean, let's go to you first. You chose it. What's your overall summing up of that then?
Right. I think, like you said right at the beginning, it's an absolute pleasure to see Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman acting like that. So natural and real. It doesn't actually feel like you're watching them act, even though you always look at Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman and see them as them. You still totally believe that they are the people they're portraying. So, I really found it interesting the way they used one main location, and it was almost like a character study between the two, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and I liked Gene Hackman's little comebacks at Morgan Freeman as well about his failed marriage.
Yeah, that was it.
We didn't mention that. I think it's a great film. I do think it slightly shows its age in terms of like cinematography and the recording of the sound wasn't very good, was it?
The audio at the start, I was struggling to pick. When there was music and dance, I was struggling to pick up the audio. It was okay for me when they were in the office, but anytime, which thankfully wasn't loads, was it? But anytime they went outside of that,
I thought it looked a bit dated in places. I don't know if that's got to do with the budget, and I don't know, but I'd certainly recommend it for anyone that enjoys a kind of slow burning mystery unraveling with great actors. I mean, to be fair, if you're a fan of film, you need to watch it because it's got Morgan Freeman and bloody
Has Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman ever acted together in anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I can't think of anything. I mean, again, comment if you can out there, but I don't recall seeing both of those.
It's worth watching just for their charisma.
And the way they interact,
their connection. But the ending is just absolutely bamboozled me. To be honest, it's almost worth watching for the ending, just so you can be like that weird feeling you get of like being a bit spaced out because you're like, what did that actually happen? Did I just watch? What? I still don't get it. What do you think?
So Okay, so I'm going to start. First of all, I'm going to start like with the acting. It was really great to see Gene Hackman. I mean, definite loss him losing Gene Hackman. I know he's not done any films for years now, but you kind of forget if you're not careful, don't you? Just what a great actor is, and it's not until you see someone that can hold the screen like he can in any film that you watch, whether it's a good film or a bad film, he's always good in it. And that's how I think you can tell when an actor's really good. Morgan Freeman, I would say, same. He's been in some excellent films. He's also been in some not too great films, but he's always good with the stuff he does. So seeing them both together was great. Seeing Monica Bellucci again was really great because she doesn't pop up in an awful lot of films these days. Same as Thomas Jane. So yes, the acting was really on point, and I liked all of that. I also liked the fact that it was very much on location type sort of film. So like a drama that I really like is called Glencarry Glen Ross. And that's kind of similar because that's mainly based in like the sales and with some really good powerful actors and stuff. So I liked all of that.
Is that Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, it's Scarface,
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. It's Kevin Spacey. Say that out loud too often these days, can you?
No.
And a number of other really strong actors. Okay, but so I liked all of that, and I was enjoying the time I was investing in it. If it had finished after Hackman's confession, with Monica Bellucci being upset and leaving the end, I would have given that a pretty good 8 out of 10 based on a thriller, right? But because it didn't, and it tagged that extra 3 minutes on, I've got to then say that's 6 out of 10. Would I recommend it? I'd recommend it, but I'd recommend it on the basis that I'd say to whoever was going to watch it, once you've watched it, I really want to know what your thoughts are on the ending.
I bet there's sways and sways of YouTube videos trying to.
I'm going to do a deep dive. I've got to do a deep dive.
It'd be really cool if like the directors never actually came out and explained what the ending's supposed to be.
God.
Even though we've just wrapped it up with our own thoughts, I still can't get over. Yeah, it's not only the way it ends. It's the fact that they then both go outside the police station and then don't reconcile.
She wants to, he doesn't. They sit on separate things.
Yeah.
And then the last shot is Gene Hackman looking up at the detective who's looking at him.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
And what's the point?
I don't get it.
What was the point of that? What? So rather than actually show who did the murders and how they got away with it or whatever.
So it turns out the film isn't about who the murderer is. Turns out the whole film is just the basis that Gene Hackman was under suspicion. Fingers were pointing at him. Turns out, even though he admitted to it for whatever reason, he's completely innocent. I don't know. So there you go. So that's the thing, isn't it? Well, it's got us talking, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, under suspicion, Gene Hackman.
Under suspicion of not knowing how to end a film properly.
Maybe comment on what your again. This is more about Gene Hackman than anything else. This choice of film was more about honouring the fact that we've lost a great actor in Gene Hackman, and more to the point, drop us comments on your favourite Gene Hackman film. Yeah, what is it? He's done so many. Like I said, mine's Crimson Tide. Yours is. What would you say yours is?
Probably The Bad Lieutenant.
That's Harvey Keitel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Great film, though.
Probably. I did like Mississippi Burning.
Yeah, strong. That's Lawrence Fishburne, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did like the film we were going to watch, but I couldn't find.
French Connection. Popeye Doyle.
But I think French Connection's aged really badly.
As it?
It's probably still a good film, but just in terms
do you know what? I ain't seen that for, 40 years.
Yeah.
I saw that when I was a teenager and I haven't seen it since.
Right.
But I'm glad we did get to see a film that neither of us have seen.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And we are of a similar opinion on this one. I must admit, we were very diverse over Man on Fire, weren't we? Which was also cool. But on this, I think we are of similar agreement. So, hey, I've got a good film. I've got a good film in mind for our next one. Guaranteed you'll understand it. Guaranteed you'll understand the ending.
Do you think I've seen it?
I'm pretty guaranteed you've seen it as well.
Okay.
But yeah, stay posted and keep your eyes peeled. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please hit that subscribe button. It would be really appreciated. Yeah. We're up to 320 subscribers now.
Nice.
Yeah, which is great. And to those that have recently joined over the last 4 weeks, thank you very much. Tell your friends, hit subscribe. See you in a few weeks.
Peace.
We don't know what happened.
Man caves and margaritas. Joe, Liz, and Gavin talking about their favorite features.